Welcome to today's session. I am Kathryn Rose, CEO and founder of channelWise. channelWise provides on-demand expert advice for the channel. We know the channel, we know the challenges. Our team of been there, done that experts are dedicated to helping your partners go farther, faster. Today, we welcome Dede Haas, the founder of DLH Services, whose practice helps tech vendors achieve profitable and sustainable programs and partnerships by providing channel coaching or retainer services to organizing, evaluating new to or who are established but re-examining the channel. Welcome, Dede. Great to have you with us today.
Thank you so much, Kathryn.
So tell us a little bit about your journey in the channel and a little bit about your company and the services it provides.
Well, first of all, my journey in the channel started a long time ago in the 80s. And I started working with partners back in the mid 80s, reseller partners, specifically for Novell and IBM. The first partner, and then the second partner was a platinum partner of Novell's. And their name was Land Systems. And I worked for them for a couple of years in business development. And then the division I worked for was acquired by Intel. So I ended up at Intel for about 12 years, managing the channel for various software products, one of which is used to be called Land Desk Management Suite. So I managed consulting teams in the channel, making sure that Land Desk was not shelfware, and to get our partners up and going and running with it. And also I managed territories for the channel and brought on board partners, just very active. After that, I became self-employed, and I had been self-employed before in the 80s, decided to do this again. And I formed DLH Services. And my services mainly are for vendors, technology vendors who are interested in exploring the possibility of starting up a channel, help them with that, how to do it, and also any vendors that have existing channel programs want to revamp or have not been working very well. So I'm available for retainer work or for simply just coaching people who are working in the channel.
Fantastic. Well, you know, the times they are a changing, as the song goes, right? We've seen a lot of reimaginings or reinventions or renamings. You know, now the channel's ecosystem, right? You know, whatever you call it, right? Still the channel, but we've seen it over the years. So what do you see in the future of channels and partnerships, and what are you counseling your customers on right now?
Well, first of all, ecosystem is now the new buzzword. It's out there. You know, people are throwing it out there. Many people don't even know what it is. It is another stage in the channel. It in some ways not very different from the old channel, in that with the ecosystem you have various vendors and partners all working together. We did that back in the 90s. And where we weren't just one-on-one with a partner, we had other ISVs. When I was in Intel, we had other ISVs work with us, and we would work with some of their partners and our partners, and we would come together, working together on a product, on getting it out to market, and managing the channel. So something very similar happened back in those days. The channel evolves. I've watched it evolve since the 80s. So, you know, certainly ecosystems, it's something that people are really concentrating on these days. It's important. It's absolutely important. But the one thing we cannot forget is that our partners in the channel, there's still a channel, our partners in it aren't necessarily partners who have been let in on the whole memo about ecosystem. And I've actually asked some of my partners, former partners, and partners that I am involved with, what do they think of the ecosystem? And most of them Their vendors haven't talked to them about it and have not had them join into any kind of ecosystem that they're involved with. So this information hasn't really trickled down much.
Got it. And so many vendors are always asking for best practices. And I know you work with a lot of companies that are, just thinking about or starting to enter the channel. What do you see as the most important factors for companies to have successful channel routes to market?
First of all, communication. If you're going to be successful in any route to market, you need to understand how you should have a relationship, partnership, business partnership with your partners, because you're not going to have any route to market if you don't understand that. Mm-hmm. And partners want to be treated as an equal business partner. So vendors need to understand that they need to help their partners be successful. Partners will remember that. That helps build trust. That's probably the number one priority in having a successful channel and successful route to market, is developing trust with your partner. If you don't have the trust, you don't have anything.
How do you develop trust, though? I mean, some of these companies that we work with, channelWise, and sure some that Intel, for example, they have thousands of partners. When you're dealing with a one-to-many strategy, what are some things that vendors can do to develop this trust?
Well, many of the things that they can do is what I said in the beginning: communication. Always keep your partners informed. And if you have a couple hundred or 1,000, there's different ways that you can keep them informed without having to pick up the phone on an individual basis. It all depends really on the numbers that you're dealing with. But in any case, you can have 1,000 of them, 10,000 partners. You can still communicate to them, and you tell them what you're going to do. You're going to let them know what you're going to do to help them be successful in selling your stuff or servicing your stuff. And then you show them that you are going to do that, and you're going to give them the resources. If they come back to you with a concern or questions or even some suggestions, listening to them, absolutely listening to them and acknowledging them. So many vendors, especially the big guys that have so many partners, they don't even acknowledge these people. They may never have spoken to them in the past. Some of these partners will try and get in touch with them. They don't even acknowledge them. The partner went through hoops to get into the program. So communications is important. Doing what you say you're going to do, being there, having their back. If you have a channel program that's smaller with maybe only 100 partners or 200 partners, it's much more personal. But doing the same thing, being there for them. I have partners from my Intel days that I am still in communications with. It's been over 20 years. And I'll tell you, I've gone out on a limb for them. And right. They know that, and they remembered that. And I'm not saying that I'm the only one who does that. I'm not. But that is something that they will remember. One of the things that is really important is you can talk to them all you want, but if you can make them feel that they're being heard, they're important in your program, and that they are a business partner, that is a good way to start full trust development with them.
What are some specific, strategies that you would say that would help foster that trust? Because, it used to be anyway that a partner could have as many as 30 vendors on their line card, but they're really strategic with about 7, but still, seven vendors or suppliers or whatever, they're getting bombarded with emails and messages and webinars and like all these different kinds of things. What are like some strategies that you've seen that really are vendors that are able to break through the noise and really, show up for their partners, and their partners believe that they're going to show up for them?
Well, in the beginning, make sure that you, the vendor, have the correct partner profile. So rather than going out there and recruiting 100 partners and going for the quantity, that's not going to work. So like you said, they could have 30 partners, but only 7 of them really are doing the work. And the problem is because that the others may not be appropriate partners. So
Right.
that's the very beginning. It's making sure that you have the right partner profile. And during that recruitment process, when you're talking to the partner, also just letting them know what the expectations are from you, also asking them what their expectations are, getting them involved in the whole process. Be transparent as possible. These are strategies that are really easy to do. You don't have to offer them a gazillion dollars. What you can offer them, though, is the fact that you will make sure they stay up with product upgrades, that you will make sure that they understand and they hear and they know what's going on in the company, and that you will be staying in touch with them, whatever their preferred method is, prior to even doing this recruitment, coming up with what kind of method is the best method for updates, and keeping it that way. And if there are any changes, letting them know all this up front during the recruitment phase, and putting together this expectations from you and from them.
That's really great advice. What are some of the things that you've seen that are pitfalls that you've seen vendors, fall into, and how can they avoid them?
Well, some of the pitfalls is these partners are just clamoring over each other to sell or get into this particular vendor's channel program. And that is not the case at all. It is the vendor who's really, it's their job to go out there and to, again, like I said, develop this relationship with these partners, have the right partner profile. But, the pitfall is that if you don't do that, and it's your job to do that, if you don't do it, then what ends up happening is that the partner's not going to trust you. Okay. And some of these vendors have a mentality of, of course, taking from field to dreams. If you build it, he will come, or they will come. That's not true. And not doing the things you need to do to show respect to these companies that are willing, and they're usually small, these companies that are willing to come on board and put resources in, their limited resources in, to help you sell your stuff or your services, your products, whatever. The pitfall is having an expectation for them to do everything. And I've seen this. It doesn't work out well. So don't look down upon them. Look at them as a business partner, and that they're doing what they can, and that they may need help. The pitfall, a lot of companies not helping when the partner has limited resources, not coming up with programs that would help the partner, like MDF, prospecting funds. There's a number of things. Those are the pitfalls that many vendors have gone through by simply just treating these partners like a dime a dozen, and that's not the way you should treat them.
What advice do you have if a company is thinking about entering the channel? So obviously, even prior to them identifying their ideal partner type and all that, like the pre-work, what should a company be looking for in evaluating whether or not channel is a route to market for them?
Years ago, I put together a 13-point checklist for companies exactly in that position. So it asks the question, is your senior management all for something like this? I mean, that's really important. So if they are thinking about doing that, it can't be somebody out there, some business development person that says, or marketing person said, hey, we should build a channel. Have you talked to senior management yet? Because if you don't, and you don't have their support, this is not going to be successful. And so there's being able to have the resources or provide the resources that these partners need. Are you willing to do that? Essentially, are you willing to do the things it takes to stand up a channel program and treat the partners correctly as business partners? And this is before the partner profile. This is like any company, you know. I think senior management is one of the biggies. And then after that, really is the company itself on board, meaning the marketing department. Are those people willing to work with partners? Same thing with engineering, systems engineers. Are they willing to go out and work with partners? You have people on board. Very important.
Fantastic. Great advice again. And, you know, one of the things I've been hearing a lot lately with this economic turmoil, because of course I'm talking with vendors and suppliers all the time and partners too. You know, I'm hearing a lot of grumblings of companies that, you know, maybe have been in the channel for a while or just entered the channel, who are, you know, trying to figure out how to save money. You know, they're trying to figure out how, you know, they can continue their operations, but at the expense, I think, and sometimes of the channel organization. You know, they're cutting PAMs, they're cutting CAMs, and some of the channel support staff, you know, obviously, you know, companies have to stay in business, right? So they need to have, you know, some, you know, eye on the economics. But what advice would you give to vendors and suppliers who are looking to reduce costs, but keep their channel program vibrant?
Well, first of all, your channel program is not a direct sales team. And your channel program is designed to be able to use fewer resources in-house so that you have more feet out there on the street that are selling and servicing your product. So just like marketing back in the day, marketing always got cut. And then you wondered, well, you want to make more money? Why are you cutting marketing? And the same is true with the channel. The channel is specifically designed to keep numbers low for the company, but the outreach is pretty wide. Now, of course, you have to have the resources to help partners with marketing and with engineering and all of that kind of thing. But again, if you have it set up correctly, the person or organization that's going to manage the customer and client, one who's going to service them, it shouldn't be you, it's going to be them. So you don't have to take your resources and put it over to servicing customer account. You've got your channel doing that.
Right.
So you have these multiple channel organizations out there doing this for you. So if you have, let's say, 100 partners out there doing this for you, selling your products and services, servicing the customer, managing the customer relationship, are you able to do that on your own? Going out there at the number of 100 partners can handle? No. So cutting your channel organization to the barest minimum, because it's already minimum. It starts that way. Right. Cutting it to the barest minimum is not going to help, because now what you're going to have is overworked partner account, channel account managers, managing more partners, disgruntled partners. And if you have disgruntled partners, they're going to leave.
Well, they're going to leave, and they're also going to talk to everybody, right? I mean, it's funny. We used to say the channel is the same 100 people and they just move around. And obviously it's bigger than that now, but you know, you go to a lot of the events. I'm at all the events. I mean, you do see the same faces, and they're all in these, like, you know, Jay McBain and others have culled lists of where partners are hanging out, and they're all talking to each other. So it doesn't take much to really set off a firestorm, right?
Oh, I was going to say that. If some of these senior executives that decide they're going to cut a channel program, if they don't think partners talk to each other, they do. So they all know each other, and they may be competing against one another in the program, but they do talk.
Yeah.
And your reputation could go down the drain.
So great. Well, again, so much great information. I mean, it sounds like obviously trust is a huge factor, really, and really
Yes.
thinking through whether or not you should even be entering the channel, right?
Right.
And if you're there, how are you going to support it? Do you have the right partners? This is
Yep.
all really good information. And then, of course, with the economic downturn, the last thing you should be doing is kind of pulling the rug out from underneath your channel organization
Yes.
if you want it to succeed in the future, because you contract it now, it's going to ripple effect for years even, right?
Yep.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for taking time to be with us today, Dede. Thank you out there for taking time to be with us. I'm going to go ahead and put Dede's channelWise profile link into the chat. Feel free to schedule a call with her. As you can tell, she has a lot of great information to share with you all, and we really welcome all the comments and any questions that you all have out there. Please put them into the chat or put them on the post, and we'll be happy to answer them later on another Ask the Expert Live. So looking forward to seeing everyone. Thank you again, Dede, and until next time, everyone.